everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Alright everyone, we're going to be working on a Valentine's Day swag. So let me show you what the supplies are going to be. Okay, so I've got all my supplies here that I'm going to be using. Most of these items are pretty much from the Dollar Tree. I think I only have maybe some mesh and a ribbon that is not from there. But you can get all your items from wherever you see fit and spend whatever you want. This is going to be something easy, inexpensive. I've worked on mesh before. Most of you have already seen me work with mesh, but if you haven't and this is new to you, I'll show you how I do that. It's very simple. At first I didn't really like mesh, but I'm growing to like it. Okay, so the first item that I need to have is a wreath form, and this is a 14-inch wire foam form, if you will. And I'm going to actually be cutting this in half. So we're going to move this over for now. And then I got myself these two little signs. I got them from the Dollar Tree, by the way. I'm going to get these two little signs that I also got at the Dollar Tree. These are little hanging signs. I like this long one, and this is where I got the idea that instead of creating like a round wreath, I'm going to do something long. So I've got that one. And then I got this extra one because I liked the Valentine here, and I like the Be Mine. I don't know if I'm going to use all of the hearts, but I really like them, and so I've got that ready just in case I do. Okay, the mesh that I have, I've got some burlap colored, or you know, this is the color. It is like a tan, and I got that one, and that one is from Hobby Lobby for sure. I do know that I got that from there. These are from the Dollar Tree, and I've got a white with a red stripe and a red. And now a lot of you said, when I was asking, what should I do for Valentine's, some of you said, no red. A couple of people said that actually. No red, we're tired of seeing red at Christmas. You wanted to see some other colors, and I am going to be doing that for my next video. I just happen to have some of this left over from Christmas, so I thought I need to use this up. I don't want to keep seeing it, so let me use it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I did get these from the Dollar Tree just recently, actually before I saw the comments. But then I decided to add some pink. So these have actual little pink hearts in it. And then I have these other ones, little arrows and little hearts, but it's mostly white like the sign. And then I've got these other ribbons that have that burlap look to them. These are not from any seasonal time at the Dollar Tree. These are in the regular floral aisle. It's got little red dots. I thought that was, you know, nice. So I have two rolls here. I don't know how much I'm going to use. I do have this white kind of burlap or creamy colored burlap ribbon that I got. Oh, I don't remember. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I've got that as well. I'm going to use some chenille stems, wire cutters, scissors, and I'm going to be using my glue gun just a bit for like the signs and such. But we're mainly going to be needing a lot of chenille stems, and I'm probably going to be cutting these in half, or I'm going to cut them into thirds. Okay, I will tell you that I had another item that I made during Christmas where I made my little poofs, or little bows, whatever you want to call them, out of this particular burlap. So I'm actually going to remove them and you reuse those in this particular craft, but I will show you how to make the little poofs in case you have not seen how to do that before. Okay, I shall be back and we'll get to working. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to go on this side of this line here just because that tells me that that is centered, and just cut on one side so that I can at least have one of these ends being held by that piece that's going across. Okay, so then I have this side that already has an end. So what I'm going to do to this other side, I'm going to cut on this other, on the opposite, because it already has something here holding it. So I'm going to give this side now something to hold it. Just get some good wire cutters. I'm trying to cut as close to the little edge, but it's not perfect. But anyway, so now I've got two pieces like that I kind of want to bring. Let's put them like this. I kind of want to do this, or maybe they might end up closer. Let's get my long sign here. I want this obviously to cover that end, and I want this to cover that. So that's how I want this to appear out of my wreath, or my swag. That's why I'm calling it a swag, because it's long. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is on the top here, and then on the bottom, and somewhere in the middle, I'm going to add some chenille pieces. I need to plug in my glue gun. I haven't done that. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these little ends, these little pieces that I've cut up, glue one on the top edge, glue one at the other, and then probably somewhere in the middle. I'm not going to put the middle one first until I know exactly where these are going to be. So this will end up tying up somewhere on one of these guys. I don't want it to go too far out. Let's see. I probably have to have it a little closer to the edge because I want this roundness to be as far out as I can. So about right there. And the other one, let's see, it's going to be on this side, so I probably want this a little bit closer to there. And then I'm probably actually going to need another one to hold that end, and then another one to hold this end. So let me get my hot glue gun going, and then I can glue these little bits right at these particular positions that I have decided. Okay, I want to make sure that this is stuck on the what do you call this, little wire bits that are actually touching the board, not with aligning with this one, but this one's touching the board, so I'm going to align it with that one, as I'm going to do the same with this one. This just to align it with that, and that just to align it with that. Okay? Alright, so I'll be back with my hot glue gun ready to go. Alright, so while my hot glue is getting hot, I'm actually going to start cutting some of this and show you how I do this. I took some off another project that I had. I think I've got about 16 of these. I'll count them in a little bit once I know what I'm going to need. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut extra of these just so that you see how I do those for those people that have not seen the other previous videos. This is I think it's a 5-inch. Yeah, it's 5 inches wide. And this one is about 6 inches, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to cut, you can either cut at 8 inches or at 6 inches. I'm doing 6 inches because that happens to be what I did over here. So basically that's it. And then see how it kind of curls a little bit? So all you want to do is just start curling it from one end. Try to do it as tight as possible. Not too tight, but you know, comfortably tight, I guess. And then just put a chenille stem right in the middle and twist it a couple of times just so that it holds that particular shape, so that you can make these little loops or bows or whatever you want to call them. I think I've also called them poofs. Now this one, this one's 6 inches wide. I'm also going to cut them at the 6-inch length. They could actually be 8 inches. Let's do that. Let's do 6 by 8. Now I usually have a cutting mat on my table and I use a rotary cutter to cut this mesh out, but as you can see, you could also just do it with some measuring tape or a stick ruler and then use your scissors. Okay, so I'm going to cut and do the same with that. Roll it up. It's just a little bit fuller, that's all it is. 8 inches. And it already wants to roll up, so you're just helping it along. Again, pinch it in the middle with a chenille stem, a couple of twists, and that's it. So you just make as many of those as you need. I'm going to start making more of these. I'm going to try and make, let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Well, I'll have 18 of these. I don't want to cut more than I need because I don't want to waste any of this mesh. So I'm going to kind of cut it as I go along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 9 more of these and 9 more of the white so that I have 10 of each. Alright, I've done all my little bundles here. I've done 10 of the red, 10 of the white, and I have the 18 of the this burlap colored one. Just so that you know, you can probably get about 15 bundles of this here that's a 6-inch wide, and I did 8 inches long. You can do about 15 of them out of one roll possibly. So if I was to do it all with this Dollar Tree ribbon or mesh rather than buying these other types, I would probably need about maybe 4 rolls of this. So if you want to get prepared and you want to do this and you maybe just want to do it in one solid color, then 4 rolls or 4 rolls of combinations of whatever you want. This is a 6-inch by 5 yards, just so that you'll know that. I think this one here was, I think it was 10 yards, this roll, when it first started. I don't remember exactly. But I've got quite a bit, so it might have been 15 yards. Okay, so I'm going to put this all out of the way because my hot glue gun is now hot. And I want to go ahead and put these items on it. I think I want these solid edges. Let's see, let me think about that. Yeah, let's grab these up here. And then I'll do these open edges somewhere in the middle because that way I don't have them sticking out, little bits sticking out at the top. You can pretty much do it however you want, but I'm just kind of thinking that'll be the best thing to do for this in this case. So I'm going to put some glue right about here. Put down one of these little bits here. Let's push this one further out, about the same distance. Okay. And then closest to this one down here, closest to this one. You could just obviously glue the wire down onto the board, but just to make sure that it's all, you know, really sticking down. Get this on there. Let me get this under here. Let's get it under there. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry. Once that's dry, then I can go ahead and tie them down. You could add a little bit more glue over it just to make sure that it is stable on there. And as you can see, this edge here is being held down, so it's not going to pop up the top. There we go. Okay, I think this is almost dry, so I'm just going to go ahead and twist it on. Make sure you let it dry completely. Okay, I'm just bending this downward, this little edge here, and this one as well. You can use some little pliers to help you bend that down. I'm just doing that just so that it's not really like sticking out upward, because then the wall, when this goes hanging on the wall or on the door, I don't want the edge of this wire scratching up the door. Okay, so there we go. That's what we want for now. So then I'm going to go ahead and start attaching some of these mesh loopies. I don't know what else to call them. Little twists, little puffs, little bows, or whatever you want to call them. Okay, I'm going to start applying these onto my wire here. I think I'm going to go ahead and do, I have 18, so that's 9 and 9, right? Is that correct? Yes, 9 and 9. So I'm going to do 3, 3 and 3, 3, 3 and 3, because see how there's little spaces here? Right here. So I'll do 3 here and 3 here. And I think I'm going to go on the outer one right here. Maybe I'll do these two ones in the middle. These two rows in the middle. I'm going to go one in, one out. One in, one out. You know, like that as I go up, and then do the same over here. So I'll start with this one. And if I need to cut more of these or more of the red and the white, I will do that. I want to keep nice and full. So we might end up having to need more mesh. But don't forget, I also have ribbons that I want to put on there. Okay, some of these are like really twisted because they were on something else. Okay. Now, if it's easier for you to take your chenille stem and put it onto your form, you know, a couple of twists, and then grab your mesh piece and then roll it up and then stick it in there and then tie it into that way, you can go ahead and do it that way instead of the way that I'm doing it. And it might be a lot easier to work that way, and I think a lot of people do that. They put the little chenille stems on their forms and then they add the mesh, because not only that, but if you also like cut these chenille stems in half rather than thirds, you'll have a longer piece, and so once you get it on there, you'll be able to curl these, get them in there, tie it up just a couple of times, actually twist it just a couple of times, and then when you make a little bow piece that you want to add in there, a little piece of ribbon, you can also open it up a little bit, stick your ribbon in there, and then tie it back together so that you're building it as you go along. Now, I'm kind of working in the reverse, but I'll show you that with another one in a minute. So let me go ahead and do what I'm doing. I said one out, one in. Actually, I went one in. This should be out. Then the next one will be in, out, in, and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and finish this side, and then I'll do the other side, and I'll be back. Okay, so I put all these on here on one side, and I've started on the other side. What I actually ended up doing is I ended up putting 10 pieces on this side. So because this middle part here was just a little bit longer than these, because these are kind of hidden underneath here. So I wanted to add an extra one. So I had 3, 4, and 3. So that's 6, 4, that's 10. So then I had to also do the same on this other side. So I've gone ahead and now I have to cut extra pieces and put them on here. But before I do, I thought I'd explain the idea of putting a chenille stem on there first. Okay, so what you also want to do is you want to take your ribbon, the ribbon that you want to use on your project, and you want to cut up your pieces. And I would cut up the pieces either 6 inches or 8 inches. 8 inches looks really pretty on here, by the way. It makes it look really full. But because my mesh that I've used is not very wide, it doesn't pop up too much, I'm going to go with 6 inches. Some projects will even use 10-inch and 12-inch pieces of ribbon, but I'm using 6, making them nice and small, making everything very compact is what I'm doing. Okay, the longer you make things, the fuller things can be. Okay, so once I've got these ready and I've got my little mesh ready, I'm just going to do a little sample of what I'm talking about. Say you already have your little chenille stems already prepared and you've placed them on your project so that they're ready to go. I've just twisted them a couple of times on here. Let me move the camera a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so all I've done is I've taken these little chenille stems and tied them onto the wire of the form here, and I've just twisted it a couple of times. So then you can just take a piece of mesh and roll it up. And then you could untwist it if you want, or just leave that twisted just at least once. And then put your little mesh in there. And then twist it a couple of times. And once you've added all the mesh that you want to add, let's go ahead and do this one. Let's go ahead and twist this just a couple of times here. And then you've gone and now you've cut ribbon, and now you say, well, I want to go ahead and add these on there. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and cut these with a little dove tail on them. Just fold them in half. Cut that off. So I have that. Okay, so once you have your ribbons cut, now you want to place them inside your bundles of mesh here. Now all you got to do is just scrunch it up and take as many pieces of ribbon as you want, or even more mesh if you want, and then you can untie this again one at a time, place it in there, and then tie it back up. So that's kind of a nice way to work, especially if this is already like really full of mesh. You can just, you know, work it this way so that you see the chenille stems sticking up, and then you can just untie them, like I said, or untwist them. Let's do another one. We're going to get this one right in the middle, and then place it right there, and then twist it. So now I have these little ribbons also tucked into the mesh bits, and that fills it up a little bit more. It adds more dimension to it. I'm going to go ahead and continue doing that since I have 2 rolls of this particular ribbon. This is a 3-yard roll by the way, and I had already used a little bit of this one, but I've got a full one over here. So I'm going to start cutting those so that I have enough for each one of these, because I happen to like that right inside of this particular burlap looking mesh. I don't know, I'm almost thinking that I don't want to use, no I do. I do want to use the red and the white. That does look pretty in between. Okay, so I'll work those in there as soon as I have these done the way that I want. So I shall be back. I'm going to make more of these, cut the little ends, and then put them inside of those. Now, because these are already tied the way that I did them, and I tied them at the bottom, I could get another chenille stem and you know, tie it down with another chenille stem. But I'm going to go ahead and take the little chenille stems, turn it, twist it around, and put these in there. So I'm only using that one piece for now. Okay, I'll be back. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I placed this ribbon on every one of these bits of mesh. Now I'm going to work with the red and the white mesh so that I can insert. I would like to put a red, then a white, a red and a white in between these burlap colored one, these tan ones. So I'm going to skip one, or maybe start first here. Put a red, skip one, put a white, skip another one, put a red, skip another, put a white. So that's what I'm going to do. But I want to go ahead and fix these up a little more, make them a little fuller so they'll fill up really nicely into this here. So I'm going to take these white ones, and I've already cut up this red ribbon with these little hearts on it. This is the one that I got at the Dollar Tree, or one of the ones that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I've made these bits. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to open up these white ones and then grab this, and this will probably put it underneath the white mesh. Yeah, I'll do that. And then just tie it up like that. Okay, the other thing I could do to that is, because I also have these here. These are really pretty. These are the thinner ribbons, and I've cut them, again, it's 6 inches, but what I'm doing here, I'm not doing the little snake tongue. I'm just cutting them at a little angle. You can see the edge there. Okay, you can even cut, you know, straight if you want to do that. But I don't think you need to go through the trouble of making these little ends like I've done here. So on this ribbon here, I've cut, I think I cut 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one looks a little short, actually. I might have to cut another one. Yeah, 10. So I've cut 10, and I'm putting the red with this white mesh. Now with the red one, and I haven't decided on these yet. Now with the red one, I do have this, the ribbon. Now I have a lot of this one that I got from the Dollar Tree with these hearts. So I may go ahead and use this one also with a red, and then maybe alternate little ribbons like that also on each one, just to fill them up a little bit more. And then maybe I'll do this one by itself. If I cut about, I'm just going to say about 6 inches. And I'm just going to, yeah, I'll do a little dove cut here. A little dovetail cut. So I have that. So I was thinking that I would cut this one and put this under the red. And the reason that I'm using this one is like a cream color. This is white, but the sign here, this long sign, let me move this out of the way here. It's getting caught everywhere. The sign has a white kind of a background to it, kind of a little bit grayish, but then it has these little bits here, like a brownish gold, not brown, but tannish gold, kind of like the color of the burlap. So I thought maybe this cream would coordinate well, because you know, it fits in there just fine. But now I'm thinking that maybe I don't even need to use this ribbon. Maybe I can save it for another project. And instead, because I have plenty of this one, I'll go ahead and use that as I was thinking, with a white, and maybe taking these 2 little bits and adding those to the red. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make little bundles like this. The white, I'm going to add a red, the white red ribbon, and the red I'm going to add these 2 bits of these 2 other little ribbons that I've cut up. So any combination that you want to use, you can do that. And then if I'm going to fill those in, and if I need to cut more of these, because I don't know exactly how much I need to go, you know, in between, so forth and so on both sides. So I'll let you know what I ended up having to cut. Let me go ahead and add these 2 to my little arrangement here, on my little swag. I'm going to take this off, grab these 2. What I'll do is I'll alternate on these also, like, because I have the one with the little pink hearts on it, and then I have this one with the arrows. I'll alternate them so that, you know, on one of them it's underneath and the pink is underneath, and then on another the pink is on the ribbon that's on the top. if that makes any sense. You can just twist these around so that, you know, you can see them like that. And then you don't have to worry about which one you put on there first. Okay, so this is my idea. Let's see. Let's grab this again. And I'll do this on the side that you can see. So I'm going to move this over. And since this one here was on this bottom one, I'm going to put this one on this top one here. Just to get it started. Okay, there we go. And then I can just now move this one in against the red. And now I'm going to move down and get this one on here. The reason that I'm thinking that I'm going to do this like that is because once I have all of these done, where the next one is going to be red and then white, red, white, and so forth, I'll see how full it looks, because I might take this other roll, and because I do have another 2 rolls of this, I bought 2 of each of those, so I have 4 little rolls. If I feel like it needs to be fuller, I'm going to take this ribbon with 2 of these, make the same sort of little bundle, but this time instead of going on these middle lines here, I'm going to go on this very outer ring on the outside, just to fill it in so that you don't see that when we have it hanging. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this, making these bundles, filling it in on this side, and then on this side. Before I'm done, I'll come back so that you can see how it's going. And then we'll look at it and see if maybe we do need to cut this and the extra ones and add some on the edges, kind of sticking out from the sides. Okay, so I'll be back once I get this filled in. And I've already filled it in with all the red and the white, and I've gone ahead and gotten started here on the edge where I've added the extra red ribbon with these thinner ones on there. So basically I took a red ribbon like that, a couple of these ribbons, one with a pink heart, one with an arrow, or if they're all the same, just get 2 ribbons here on top of a wider one, and then just make a little twisty, a little bit here to grab them, and then just go on this outer ring here on the back, this outer ring, start attaching these little bundles. Now on this one, because it's right on the edge and it could just slide right off, what I did on the other side where it's, you know, the edge was right there, I took this one and I tied it next to one of these other ones to kind of keep it from sliding out. Just grab it on like that. Okay, you could put a little bit of hot glue there that'll also keep it from coming out. So now that's right there on the edge, coming out right here on the back of this other ones here. So I'm going to continue, and I put 9 on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and do 9 on the other side as well. Alright everyone, I actually had enough of this red ribbon to make 10 of these to put on each edge here. And just like I did these tanned or burlap colored mesh here. I did 10 of those. I thought, well, that'll be good. I'll do 10 so I don't have to just throw these. There was a piece like that left over, you know, about 12 inches, and I didn't want to waste it. So I decided that I'm going to do 10, just like I started off with. So as you saw, these little sections that I had, I put 3, then I put 4, then I put 3. That's basically what I'm doing here as well. And I've already put the 10 on the side. So I'm just adding an extra one here to this middle section. On the very edge ring, on the ring on the very edge. Okay. Just like that. And then we'll fluff it up, make sure it looks nice. I think it looks nice and full. We don't have to add any more mesh of any kind. And remember, I do have this other bits here of little hearts and such that I decided to save. I'm going to put this one that says Valentine way up here at the very top. Kind of like about right there. I don't really want to cover the L too much. So let's put some glue on the board actually. And I also went ahead and I put, you know, plenty of glue on the back where these wire mesh was stuck to the board. Even though I tied it down with a chenille stem, I should put some more glue on the pieces that were actually touching the board. Okay, and this one, I think I'm going to put it here at the bottom. So plenty of glue there as well. That one, like that. These are so pretty. Look at that. I think I'm going to separate these and tuck this one right in here. Just a little bit of separation, not too much. And I'm going to put glue on both little bits here. This I know is going to be touching the mesh. And the only reason that I'm separating it a little bit is because it'll tighten the mesh this way and this way, because since I'm going to put something here, it's going to cover a lot, and I don't want to waste it, if that makes any sense. So just move some of that over, and then just stick it to 2 bits like that. That looks good. I'm going to use the pink one on this side. I think I'll save this one for some other little project. Okay, so I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go a little bit higher on this one. Just making sure that the glue lands on something. There we go. And that's it. So now on the back here, I want to be able to hang this on the wall somewhere. So we need a piece of ribbon. And we do have a lot of this left over, but I'm going to use this one with a pink on it. So I'm going to make a little loop to put back here where I could hang it either on a wreath hanger or on a nail or a tack or something, whether it goes on a door or a wall. Just going to make a knot like that. And then I'm just going to glue that to the back. I'm running out of glue, so I need to get some more. Excuse me. Okay. Right in the middle here. And a little bit on the heart here as well. Make sure we capture that ribbon. Okay. Get that on there. And we'll just let that dry. Okay. Alright everyone, I have finished my swag, which looks more like a wreath now. Now this is all nice and full, so it could be a wreath swag if you want to call it that. I think it looks really lovely. Yes, I am going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you will also give me a big old thumbs up. Leave a nice comment down below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit that notification bell. I have videos every Tuesday and every Friday. And make sure you share on your social medias. Happy Valentine's Day. And here we go. As always, enjoy.